Power Talks, empowering you through the voice of truth with your host, Dr. Joel Hunter.
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Joel Hunter, host of Power Talks, empowering you through the voice of truth. On today's program, Dr. Rosalind Thomas, Executive Director of Rescue Outreach Mission of Central Florida, and Angie Romagosa, President and CEO of the Christian Sharing Center, and her son Mark Romagosa, who has been serving as the Director of Development, but is taking over the President and CEO role for his mom. This is such a great story. And we're all looking forward to hearing from this panel of compassionate, dedicated service providers. And today we're going to discuss just who is it that we serve. First of all, thank you for your leadership in this community. I was saying before the program began, you are service giants, not just in Seminole County, but in all of Central Florida. This is really great. And of course, you know, when you get to my age, you go right back to the origins of things. And I remember when Mother Weaver formed the Rescue Outreach Mission. I remember interviewing her. And this was this Pentecostal minister who just decided she's going to get it done. And so she formed this very basic providing agency that grew into what is now Seminole County's only residential facility for the homeless and needy. And so, Rosalind, let me ask you, PhD from Syracuse University, how do you find yourself in this work? What led you to this work?
Oh, wow. Ironically, I started off as an international business marketing and purchasing major, and had the opportunity to just, through my parents being foster parents, decided I didn't want to be a business person. I wanted to be a helping person. And so just went into social work, and that's where I've been my whole career. I have been helping. Yes.
Is that right? Well, you come by it honestly. I know her daddy. He's a friend of mine, and he serves this community so well as well. So, and Angie, I want to come to you next because talk about origins. 1986.
Long time ago.
16 churches. Our Northland was one of those that came together to under your leadership to form this you know, what was initially a basic provider agency. What did the Sharing Center do originally?
A lot of the same things, with food, clothing, and rent and utility assistance in the early days.
And where was it located? In the same?
No, we were on Church Avenue in Longwood. Little 800 square foot, rather rundown facility. Yeah. So we've come a long way.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. And talk about coming a long way, Mark. I love this guy because I watched him play baseball as a kid. He played baseball with my sons in Little League.
That's right.
And he was really good.
I don't know about
that. But to watch him grow into the man he is, you know, today, this is the old person's perspective, is just so hopeful for people of our generation to be able to hand it over to folks, to the next generation of leaders.
But I want to correct you.
Yes.
He's not taking over for me.
Okay.
Mark has opted to remain in his position as Director of Development.
Thank you.
And we have a search committee that is identifying someone that will take my place.
Oh,
so he'll still be there.
The incorrect information. Thank you for that correction. That's fairly important.
It is important.
And you are retiring soon?
I am.
Okay. After, what, 33?
It will be almost 33 years.
Yeah, wow.
Yes.
You have just been so faithful in that. And the expanse of that. Let's go to what the Sharing Center does right now, because it's pretty exciting. You've kind of taken over an entire shopping center, haven't you? Or,
we have. We own the shopping plaza, and we occupy about 70% of it ourselves.
Okay. So tell us about the services that you provide? I mean, you do provide more than when you started.
Right. We still have the basic services of food, clothing, rent and utility assistance, and whatever it takes to stabilize a family. And that's basically serving the working poor.
Okay.
We also have our Oasis Homeless Drop-In Center, the only one in Seminole County.
Yeah.
And that is a place where we serve the truly homeless, the people that are living on the street in their cars, in a tent, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And at the Oasis, we are providing showers, free haircuts, laundry services, and use of a computer so they can look for work or look for housing.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Mark, you work with a lot of church organizations. As a director of development, you're gonna be building relationships all over the place. What are some of the main partners what are the valuable people who have just kind of helped you get started? Not just churches, but organizations that have invested in what you're doing.
Well, touching on that, churches are still instrumental in everything that we do. You mentioned 16 churches back in the beginning. We now have 50 plus churches that are supportive and partners of us in some fashion. So we still depend on church partnerships to get the volunteers that we need, to do the food drives that we need. So churches are still a big player there, but we're so much more than just church partnerships. We have businesses and civic groups, individuals in the community that simply like what we do and want to come and help us out. So, and that's my role, to develop those relationships. We are more than just a church service. I mean, we are definitely helping our church partners with referrals and that sort of thing. But most of our clients that come to us these days are walk-ins from the community. So we're really a community resource. So you don't have to be a church partner to like what we do.
Right. Well, and you're located right on 1792, so it's when you drive by there, if you are a person who is in need, you go, wow. And so I imagine you do get a lot of walk-ons as well as referrals.
That's right. Yeah,
And we're on the bus line there. The bus stops right in front of our place, which is a great thing for us as well as the clients.
Absolutely.
But touching a little bit about the church partnerships, we do feel that church partners are extremely valuable in providing not just the financial assistance, but the food drives and the volunteers. We're still very volunteer-driven. And so we have a periodic meeting. We call it our half a meeting, our Hands and Feet Alliance.
Oh, I've heard this.
And that's the group of our partners, particularly the churches, that come together periodically to discuss ways that not only can they help us, but ways that we can help them, because it is a partnership.
That's fantastic. Now, Rosalind, let's go to the outreach mission. Tell us some of the services that are provided there, and some of the people, some of the different, clientele or folks that you are helping.
Well, we have, right now, we've kind of gone through a little bit of a restructure. We've changed some of the services that we do. We provide, we have an Opportunities for Hope program, which is more of our long-term housing for those families that come in and are in need of services, mother and children, that it's going to take them a little bit longer to get on their feet. And so we have that. We have a Safe Haven program, and that's kind of a little bit more short-term when they come in and just kind of need a little help through a few pay periods to get where they need to go and then get back on their feet and back into a little bit more stable housing. We feed the community 3 meals a day, 365 days a year, free of charge. We probably about 30, 40 people every day at lunch, about the same for dinner. Breakfast, it's a come in, coffee, donuts, whatever type of thing. And so every single day we feed. And so the community really relies on the mission. We have our clothing donation where the clothes are donated. We fold them, wash them, put them back out, and you can just walk in and take whatever you need. It's very important to watch the community, the needs of the community be met right there. We've recently partnered with the Department of Health. We're doing hepatitis vaccines. We're doing all kinds of services, blood pressure testing, really wanting to make sure that we are solidified in the community as a partner, working with the churches, the volunteers. It's amazing. It's amazing to see how much of the community comes out to help and just do so many wonderful things. So it's really been although I thought I would go and be helping them, it's helped me so much more in these first 90, 100 days. I've really been touched by the program.
Who are some of the main partners that you have in the mission?
Right now, we are really partnering a lot with all the churches in the community. We have a lot of volunteers. I'm trying to think of all the different people. I'm going to forget someone. The county we partner with Allen Chapel Church. He gives us a lot of support in the community. Pastor Smith is amazing.
Oh,
He's always
Octavius,
right there no matter what we need. Amazingly, Home Depot did an awesome renovation project for us, and we've had competition from the sheriff's office and the chief of police that came in and redecorated rooms for us. So we've had so many, the community has really just stood up for us and came in and helped out. It's been amazing. It's been really amazing.
Angie, what are the changes you've seen over 3 decades of from where you started out to where we are right now? How has the marginalized or the vulnerable population in our community, has anything changed, or has it basically stayed the same?
Well, when we started, it was primarily the working poor. We didn't see many of the homeless. I'm sure that the homeless existed, but I think that population has grown tremendously over the past number of years, sadly. And that's how our Oasis was born. One of the things that I'd like to say is that we look for any situation within the community that needs to be addressed. We're not out to address, we know we can't do everything, and we're not there to reinvent the wheel, but we look for gaps in services, and then how can we provide those? Is there somebody else providing them? We just need to link up with them, or is it truly a service that's not being provided? And that's what we found with the Oasis. And when we had a vacancy, we renovated the space so that we had a place so that the homeless could shower. Can you imagine trying to look for work and not having showered? I mean, nobody's going to want to hire you. So you get depressed because you really don't have the tools that you need for success. So we want to give them those tools. But I would say that the homeless situation has been a big change over when we began. We're always going to have poor people, unfortunately. We're always going to have the working poor. But whatever we can do to serve them with compassion and to help restore their dignity helps them to be successful within the community.
Housing is becoming less and less affordable. For every 100 people who are looking for housing, there are only 17 available units. We're one of the worst cities in the country when it comes to having the capacity to house people. So what you do, especially for those who are literally homeless. Somebody called me the other day and they said, hey, I've got all of these bottles of shampoo. I travel a lot. They've never been opened. Shampoo, conditioner, soap, what do I do with them? I said, take them to the sharing center. The Oasis. That's a great. Mark, you are of a different generation than your mom and I. What do you see in the future that that gives you hope as far as helping people who are in need?
I see a lot of youth that are very interested in community awareness, and more so than that when I was a kid. I mean, aside from the fact that my mom was running the sharing center, but outside of that, it wasn't on my radar. I think kids these days are much more aware of their communities, and I think partly they have to get community service hours for school nowadays, and that's a big part of their program. So they have to do it, and they're sort of forced to be aware. But I think that once they are made aware, there are kids that come in that volunteer at the sharing center they love it. I mean, they come in regularly. So to see that sort of motivation by kids is pretty exciting.
Including your own.
Including my own, I bring them down. I force them right now, but.
I heard a story about your little granddaughter who kind of works in the consignment shop sometimes or whatever.
Oh, my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, is the boutique manager.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she started as a volunteer there, and then she's at Seminole State right now going to school.
Oh, that's awesome.
And she works 32 hours a week managing our boutique, which has done a fabulous job.
Wow.
But talking about grandkids is, we have to get that in.
Of course.
But talking about the youth, Mark's own son, and Mark had no idea, Mark's own son advertised for his birthday that he wanted donations of food for the Sharing Center. And we were all astounded when the food started rolling in, and it's because Jackson actually, put his needs behind, or his wants, I guess.
love it.
I thought that was super.
That is
and that
awesome.
is the example that we
Yeah.
can provide for youth. It is so much about example.
Yeah.
We're teaching things by what we do, and
That's
not
right.
in a school book lesson
That's exactly
necessarily.
right. That's exactly right. Rosalind, could you tell us about? We know that you have professional services at the mission. There's a great need for that, but you also have several volunteers there.
Yes, we do.
What do your volunteers do?
Our volunteers cook, our volunteers answer phones, our volunteers do everything possible. They are there. We wouldn't exist without our volunteers. I mean, that's just the way that it is. They are there doing every aspect of programming that we do. They walk hand in hand with us. There really isn't a difference. Our holiday Christmas party had everyone together because they are there doing just about everything that the staff do.
Good.
Yes.
Now I want to ask you both about this because I know that you're not there just to provide immediate needs, but for long-term development and empowerment of these families. And I know, Angie, you all have a 3-year program.
Yes, our Life Builder program.
Life Builder program. I want to ask about that, but first I want to come to you. You mentioned something about at the beginning that you have different training opportunities for the people that are coming in. Are you talking about looking for jobs? Or are you talking about budgeting? What are you talking about there?
All of those aspects of it. What I found coming in, and I'm sure what you already know, is that when people are coming in, there's been so much trauma that has gone on. Like I think you said earlier, homelessness doesn't happen overnight. There are a series of events that goes on in a person's life that brings them to that point.
Right.
And although we could go and very easily put them in a home and say, okay, now you're not homeless, there are other services that they need to get back to being autonomous, if you will, and that independence. So the things that we offer, interviewing skills, but some of it is about just becoming whole as a person. What are those pieces that are missing and how do we get there? Talks about women empowerment, and we sit down on Saturday mornings and we talk about some of the struggles that we've had. What are the things that have brought us here, and then how do we become whole again? And so we do a lot of those things that are kind of those intangibles, but the pieces that go back to making a person whole and self-sufficient and feeling valued in the community. It's amazing to me how many of our people in our homeless shelter are our volunteers. They want to give back. They give back more. I'm always amazed at how much they want to do and how much they want to help.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they're in the
that's
kitchen cooking a
great.
meal. They're,
That's great.
helping one another. So that always amazes me.
That
So
is awesome.
those are the things that we're looking at putting together, and knowing that although you may move past the mission and you go on into your own home, but please come back and help and give a handout to the next person or the next family that could be in the same situation and need that service.
That's so cool. Let's talk about the Life Builder program. What's that? What is it?
Life Builder is a 3-year program for families that are homeless. So it has to be, it can be a mother or a father. It doesn't have to be an intact family, but they do have to have a child in the household, and they have to be truly homeless. And we make them sign a commitment to work with us for 3 years because it is a process. It's a lot more than just housing someone. So we have one caseworker that works with up to 15 families in that first year very intensely to make sure that they're housed, that they have a job, that they have a budget, that they have all the tools that they need for success. And it's an individual case plan, and that's why she only has 15 families that she works with, because every case is very individual. And so she'll work up a case plan for them to make sure that they have everything. The second year, they're a little more on their own. We are still touching base with them. And then the third year that we're trying to get them to mentor the new families so that we're still in touch with them, but they're taking what they learned in the first 2 years of the program and sharing that with the new people that enter the program.
Oh, that's great.
So
That's
hopefully,
great.
it's in the second year. So we are having our first training this Thursday for mentors.
Okay.
We want people within the community that are willing to volunteer their time to actually be a mentor to these
Yeah.
families. They're not paid staff people. They're just, people that are interested.
Yeah. What do you all, all of you have been in the endeavor of helping folks in a broader community. Of course, you always have your first obligation to make sure that your agency or organization is operating well. But you've got to be coordinated with other agencies because, as you said, Angie, we can't do everything. So we have to know who does what in the community. What have you learned about the community in which you reside? What have you learned about other organizations, be it churches or provider organizations or government agencies or the sheriff's office or whoever, are there for the community well-being, the community good? Do you sense that they are working better together, or they tend to work together for a minute and then go off and do their own? How is that?
I think the community works well together. I mean, there are those moments we're all competing for some of the same funding, which makes things a little harried sometimes. But I think, at least within the group of agencies that we work with, that we each have identified what our strengths are, and we know what our weaknesses are, or our opportunities,
Right.
and we know who provides those.
Yeah.
And we link up with them, to work so that we provide the things that their clients need to them, and that they provide the things that our clients need.
Right.
And I think it's a great relationship
Yeah.
in the community.
In the community, yeah, I would agree with that. I think that we all do tend to work very well together, and we make those phone calls and those linkages, and even if it's so much as a come over to my spot and do what you need to do, I think that we are really working well together as a community.
What encouragement have you had from commissioners or mayors or our political leadership? And Mark, I'd be especially interested in, you as a director of development. It's not just funds that you need; it's relationships that you need. So, any of you had especially good encouragement from because frankly the government is depending on us. They can't really do the whole job. So anybody want to give a shout out to anybody?
Well, I would say I would like to strengthen those relationships. I don't personally feel that those relationships for us are as strong as they could be. We do have some we've always been located in the city of Longwood. We've been in 3 locations. They've all happened to be in Longwood. And we are really strengthening that relationship with Longwood. I would say that in the past year, the city recognized the work that I've done for the people that, not just the people in Longwood, but the people in Seminole County. And they presented me with the key to the city, which was nice, not for me, but it recognizes the work that our organization does within the community. So things like that are important. And we continue to strengthen them. Chief David Dowda is a new member of our board of directors. And the more people that we can get on the board that are connected within the government, and it's an education process.
It is.
I think people are willing, but we have to educate them. And that's up to us.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That being said, I'll add, we have county commissioners, city managers, city officials that come to our events. They know the work that we're doing.
Yeah.
I was just having a conversation with a former school board member today, and she was just, singing our praises about how important we are. Yeah. And so we're not. They see us, and they recognize us, and so of course we always want to bolster those relationships. But we are very well recognized in the community by the elected officials.
Good,
And
good.
and I love that.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I would say the same. I mean, the mayor, the commissioners, they're always there helping. They recognize the need. They're there serving at lunchtime and different things.
I'm
yes.
always tickled. Once a year they have a banquet called Servants of the People banquet,
Yes.
and that's who the servants are. That's who the waiters are. It's
Right.
the policemen and the firemen and the commissioners and the school board and all of that. And it's just fun to see those guys in that role
Yes.
and to value this wonderful ministry like they do.
It is.
Yeah.
It's also wonderful when they come in just on a random Tuesday and come and serve the community.
That is so
I
great. I'm glad
really
to hear that. I
appreciate-
didn't know they
yes,
were doing that.
Yes, that happens as well.
That is so great. Well, I can't thank you enough for what you're doing. I've watched it over the years, and you know, I know, Rosalind, you're fairly new, but I know you're going to hit. We are so thankful for you. We were searching for a director for seems a long time, and but what a valuable ministry you all have. And we're going to be praying for the next executive director, and I know God will have somebody wonderful for you all, because it's a terrific organization. So thank you. We're out of time. I hate this because I wanted to ask some more, but I want to thank you and all of our panelists, Rosalind and Angie and Mark, for joining us on Power Talks. Remember, these discussions are just that, discussions among us. We'd love to see you continue the discussions at home and go one step further. Get involved. Because when Power talks, you're empowered through the voice of truth. See you next time.
You just watched Power Talks, a Good Life 45 original production that makes you part of our Hope Team here on Good Life 45, where hope happens.